Red Dead Redemption may not be the powerhouse of environmental storytelling that its prequel is. Well, it kinda was, but you know what I mean. But it's still filled with its fair share of lore, Easter eggs and secrets that allows me to make a video like this. A video, for some reason, I'm yet to do. At least until now. You see, I'm quite fond of my list format for secrets that probably aren't quite worth videos of their own. I've done such videos for Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, and I've done about 12 of them for Red Dead Redemption 2 thus far, and they did kind of okay, so if anything, I regret not making this video sooner, but that's irrelevant. What is relevant is, in today's video, we're going to be exploring 10 of Red Dead Redemption's secrets, whether they be Easter eggs, curiosities, or otherwise off the beaten path of the game. You may know some, you may not know others, some of them were new to me. It isn't lost on me this game is 14 years old, but to hell with it, it's a bit of fun between one project and the next. There'll be timestamps in the description for every secret, but please enjoy 10 secrets in Red Dead Redemption. What? To begin with, let's head to Coots Chapel, southeast of the town of Armadillo in New Austin. It's here where in the graveyard we can find one particularly fascinating grave, a headstone dedicated to a cowboy of no name, which is clearly a nod to the Clint Eastwood character, the man with no name, from the movies A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, a series of 1960s movies known for establishing the spaghetti western genre upon which Red Dead Redemption is largely based. So naturally, there are many nods to these films and the actor Clint Eastwood himself. For instance, a grave bearing the name Clinton Underwood in Blackwater, and of course various dialogue nods to the man with no name. While we're in Coots Chapel, there is a grave that can be exploded. On the western side of the chapel, there is a grave with a lamp at the foot of it underneath a tree. It's dedicated to Josephine Byrd, who died on the 1st of April 1878, if that helps narrow it down. If you lob a fire bottle at it, which is totally socially acceptable behaviour by the way, that will happen. The explosion will dig up the grave, revealing the corpse of Josephine Byrd presumably, and she appears to have seen better days. It's unclear what causes this grave in particular to go kaboom when the others don't if you try the same, but I suppose that's what makes it curious. Perhaps there were some explosives down there, but if so, why is the corpse intact? If I'm missing something painfully obvious here, I'm sure it wouldn't be the first time, but the fact that you can blow the grave wide open, and only specifically that one, is interesting. At least in my opinion. So let's crack on to secret number 3. There are many Easter eggs hidden in the achievement names for this game. To be fair, that is pretty common. It's where you'd expect to find references and nods. So here's a list of the achievements that are from both Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare. 6 years in the making, and Undead Nightmare is awarded for completing the Sasquatch mission and is a nod to the popular urban legend from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas that implies Bigfoot is findable in the open world of that game, but of course, he isn't. The achievement Chupa Thingy is unlocked in Undead Nightmare as a reward for killing the Chupacabra, and is believed to be a nod to the Rooster Teeth web series Red vs. Blue based on the Halo games. The achievement Austin Overpowered is awarded for completing all 3 gang hideouts, and of course is a nod to Austin Powers. Strange Things Are Afoot is likely a reference to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Dodge This is awarded for achieving a kill chain of 10 or more in an advanced co-op mission, and is a nod to The Matrix. Zed's Dead Baby is awarded for achieving 100% completion in Undead Nightmare, and is a nod to the Tarantino movie Pulp Fiction. One Die to Rule Them All is awarded for winning a game of Liar's Dice in multiplayer with only 1 die left, and it's arguably a blatant nod to The Lord of the Rings. More Than a Fistful is awarded for earning $10,000 in single player, and appears to be another reference to the aforementioned A Fistful of Dollars. Over 9001 appears to be a reference to Dragon Ball Z, and that is the only time I'll pronounce Z incorrectly, or Americanly. And Pa 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 Poker Ace is me losing my will to live, having flashbacks to my mum rinsing that tune in the car. The achievement fan service is unlocked for finding and successfully taming the unicorn in Undead Nightmare, and was named as such because of a Rockstar Games social club chat a while before the DLC launched, in which the presence of a unicorn appeared to be a popular request for the then upcoming expansion. In fairness, I know those in reality could be considered not actual secrets within the game, but nods to other media and achievements always fascinates me a little bit, and it's also a bit of a stretch to find other things too substantial. And apparently I need to make videos a certain length these days, otherwise the YouTube algorithm gods will eat me, which they may do anyway, but only time will tell. Another secret you could argue to not be a secret depending on how allergic you are to fun are the humorous epitaphs found at graveyards throughout the world map, in which many headstones have an amusing flippant nature to their inscriptions, such as two relatives being struck by lightning, visceral descriptions of how these unseen characters died, otherwise callous casual jokes regarding death, and jokes like, "She lived every day as if it were her last, especially this one," or "second fastest draw" in New Austin, implying that's how this individual died. But my personal favourite is, "If you are reading this, I must be dead." I'm ashamed to admit in more dire times that was the bio of my Tinder profile. Anyway, these amusing headstones can be found in any graveyard, and though their existence is fairly well known, they never cease really to be amusing. For number 5, we need to head to the Broken Tree, just east of the Marston family ranch at Beecher's Hope. It's here where we can find some treasure hidden amongst a rock wall. Now, seemingly this is a nod to a scene in the popular movie The Shawshank Redemption, in which Morgan Freeman's character Red finds a box within which is some money and a message, hidden amongst a rock wall in the shadow of a tree. Secret number 6 takes us to the supposedly haunted ghost town of Tumbleweed, which tends to have plenty of life in it until I show up and end the lot because they're all outlaws. Anyway, there are plenty of cheat codes in Red Dead Redemption, and are usually found throughout the world in the form of scrawled messages. However, there is one of these scrawled messages within the Tumbleweed Church that doesn't appear to actually do anything. On the pulpit at the far end of the church from the entrance, we can find the message, "The devil has got into that beast." However, the code registers as invalid, leaving players scratching their heads. Players speculated the Tumbleweed Church was in fact haunted, or indeed in some way connected to Satan, spawning a popular Red Dead Redemption urban myth. However, the true meaning of the message has never been deciphered. Perhaps it's simply a cut cheat code, or indeed a nod to the horse you can acquire when your honour hits rock bottom. A horse similar in appearance to the one Micah Bell rides in Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation, but nonetheless, it's a bit of a mystery. For our 7th secret in the Blackwater Cemetery, we can find a grave dedicated to a Harrison Cherry, who supposedly died in 1968. Which is odd, as Red Dead Redemption takes place in 1911 and then 1914, meaning not only did this unseen character die over half a century after the game's setting, but having only been 24 at that point, isn't even born yet. This could just be an error and it was meant to read 1868, which in my opinion is the most likely explanation. This is also believed to be a reference to George Harrison of the Beatles, who had a cherry guitar, but that wouldn't necessarily explain the date. But let's move on before this video becomes exclusively about the graves of Red Dead Redemption, which it just so easily could. For our 8th curiosity of the day, there is a stranger mission chain in Armadillo in which you are searching for people who appear to have gone missing in the hills, titled American Appetites. And after a few instances of this happening, it's revealed there are cannibals in the hills. This appears to be a reference to the 1977 horror movie The Hills Have Eyes, in which a family break down in the desert and are hunted by cannibals. Moving on, the Treasure Hunter Challenges features treasure named after seemingly important people in 19th century American history. Rhodes Gold is believed to be a nod to General Elijah Hunt Rhodes. Jackson's Gold could be a nod to the 7th President of the United States, Andrew Jackson. Calhoun's Gold is believed to be a reference to John Caldwell Calhoun, the 7th Vice President of the United States, who served between 1825 and 1832. Tubman's Gold appears to be a nod to Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery and conducted over a dozen missions to rescue others, and then went on to become an abolitionist and social activist. Brown's Gold could be a nod to abolitionist John Brown. Douglas's Gold appears to be a nod to Frederick Douglass, who was something of a figurehead in the realm of African American civil rights in the 19th century. Garrison's gold is likely a nod to William Lloyd Garrison, famed for his anti-slavery newspaper The Liberator. Pickett's gold appears to reference George Edward Pickett, a major general in the Confederate States Army during the American Civil War. And Stonewall's gold appears to be a nod to General Thomas Jonathan Stonewall Jackson, a Confederate military officer who served during the American Civil War. And you know what? History references never go amiss in my books. And finally, for our 10th secret in inverted commas, there are many references to Red Dead Revolver within Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Revolver is the original Red Dead title upon which the Redemption games are based, however they don't seem to share a universe. However, there are various references to the events of Red Dead Revolver within Redemption, for instance campfire stories talking about characters from Revolver such as the protagonist Red Harlow, Jack Swift, Colonel Darren and General Diego and so on. There are references to locations such as Brimstone, and both Redemption and Revolver feature a gang hideout at a location named Twin Rocks, and they don't even look terribly dissimilar. And aside from Easter eggs with universe-colliding implications, the achievement Real Good is a nod to the character Pig Josh from Red Dead Revolver. That said, Pig Josh does show up in Red Dead Redemption Online, and that's what it's related to, so obviously. There's also a bit of loose throwaway dialogue at the beginning of John Marston and Son, in which Jack Marston talks about a book he's been reading that loosely sounds like the premise of Red Dead Revolver.
Well, it's an adventure, sir. Set out in the West, and it tells this amazing story of how people killed the savage Redskins, and how this brave man, hunts the man who killed his father.
Red Harlow also appears in Redemption's online mode, and you get the point. They may be set in different universes, but Redemption does not forget about Revolver. Therefore, the game is slackered with both direct and indirect references, raising questions as to if there is a capacity in which Revolver is canon to the world of Redemption. But I'm going to leave that one there. And that brings us nicely to the end of today's video on 10 secrets in Red Dead Redemption. I'm sorry it took me so long to even think to do a video like this on the first game, but I'm there now. I'm sure there are plenty of people watching who know this game inside out in the 14 years since the game's been released. Those people do tend to exist, and if that is you, please be kind to me. I'm just having a bit of fun. And if you do happen to know this game inside out and are watching this video still, please let me know of any more obscure things that you would like to see covered in a prospective part 2, as there's always room for that if there's enough to make that video justify its existence. But anyway, I'm going to end this video now. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends, all that wonderful stuff. It would be massively appreciated. If you like history, maybe check out my history-oriented channel Decades that I haven't posted on in a minute, but I got round to doing it yesterday, and any support on that video would be massively appreciated, of course. There is a link to the channel in the description. But look, with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point, but until next time, please, take care, and goodbye.